So, here we are in Castle Melior for the final chapter. And this is a chapter that actually changes probably the most out of every chapter in the game on hard as compared to normal and easy. So, if you're used to normal and easy, you might notice this map looks very, very different. I mean, the map itself is the same, but the enemy layout, totally different. So for one, no, I don't want to begin now, I want to show conditions. For one, there are actually less enemies on hard than there are on normal. You might think that's a mercy. It's actually really not. There is a reason there are less enemies. There is a very good reason why there are less enemies. Let's just say that a certain someone picks up the slack for them big time. Also, here's Bryce. So Bryce is kind of like the secondary boss of this chapter. On easy and normal, Bryce is much closer to the fountain. But on hard, he's all the way up here. I guess he's closer to Ashnard because the whole point of his character is to protect Ashnard. He also has this, the Wishblade, which is an S-ranked lance that is 1 to 2 range. It'd be really great if you could get that, but you can't, unfortunately. At least not during the main story. His stats are also pretty impressive, well, at least on hard mode. And he has the guard skill, so if he goes first, he can potentially nullify your counterattacks. And also Daunt, which honestly I find doesn't really affect much. I mean, losing 5 to hit and critical is not that big in the grand scheme of things. He also has a drawable speed wing in case somebody on your side hasn't maxed out speed by now, so that's kind of cool. And he's surrounded by a few generals who are, actually their defenses are pretty good by enemy standards in this game, but the real threat is the dragons. The dragons are still the biggest threat here. 39 strength. Yeah, that's terrifying. We also have some cats who are, they're still not really all that fast. Some tigers, which are kind of strong, I guess. This guy has bolting, so I want to get rid of him relatively early. We've got a bunch of paladins over here, including one with a brave sword. More paladins down here. Some soldiers over here and a sniper with some more generals who, yeah, they have a little bit less defense than the ones with Bryce. Some swordmasters over here, a couple of wyvern lords, and, well, I'll get to you later. Firstly, I'll get to this guy. This guy is a bishop with Rex Aura, the S-ranked light tome. Now, this is supposed to be enemy only, but there is a trick that lets you obtain this. However, it's a lot more difficult on hard mode than it is on normal and easy. I could try for it in bonus footage. I doubt I'll be going for it in the actual chapter. What you're meant to do is weaken the bishop to the point where he uses an elixir, which sometimes causes him to unequip Rex Aura, and then you can steal it with a thief who has at least 16 speed and over 10 strength. But on hard, this guy starts right in Ashnard's range, and that's not a good thing. Because here is Ashnard. Yeah, Ashnard's stats are pretty scary. He has exactly as much also, he's in low biorhythm, which is kind of funny. I guess he is fated to lose here. But anyway, his defense is exactly as much as the Black Knight with Elondite, so thankfully his sword Gargaront, which is named after a cannibal king from Arthurian mythology, by the way, does not give him any bonuses to his stats, also 25 weight. Ashnard's one of the only people who can use this without being slowed down. 20 might, 1 to 2 range, and he has 35 strength, so he hits very hard, and with that speed stat, no Bjork unit can double him. Unless you have Adept or Resolve, so Resolve is great here, as is Wrath. Like the Black Knight, the Ashnard's sword makes him immune to criticals, but Wrath bypasses that, so having Wrath will help here. He also has Renewal to recover HP, and Daunt to lower your... I just realized the -5 to your critical chance is pointless because he already is immune to criticals anyway. But yeah, I guess it means if you attack any of his allies near him, you'll also get -5 because Dawn is actually an aura. It doesn't just apply to people attacking him. Also, he has an axe rank. Ashnard is basically a superpowered wyvern lord, but you'll never see him actually use axes here. Oh yeah, and only Ragnall, dragons, or Laguz royals can damage Ashnard. Now, he has a whopping 10 movements, but on normal and easy, that doesn't matter. On hard, though, Ashnard does move. You'll need to bear that in mind, because that simple change radically alters the way you play this chapter. It really does change everything, and it's the main reason why there are less enemies on hard mode than there are on the other difficulties. So anyway, you obviously know who I'm going with. Oh wow, I forgot that your dragon was forced here. Makes sense from a story standpoint, and also from a gameplay standpoint. Yeah, they want you to have at least 2 people who can hurt Ashnard, but if you have Ina, chances are she's not going to do very well against him. So I want to bring Alincia here. She's not forced, surprisingly, and there is extra dialogue if you choose not to bring her. She basically says at the start of the chapter, I'm going to go fly and help one of the other squads out. But I'm going to bring her here because it's only fitting. Mist, obviously. You really want Rayson here, by the way. You really, really want Rayson here. Everyone on my main team's going to be here. I don't know, Volk might, I might bring Volk just in case I ever have the opportunity to steal Rex Aura, but probably won't. I don't want Bastion though. Ranulph, yes. Mordecai, also yes, because of Smiting. Smiting is great, but I'll need to keep both of them out of range of Ashnard, because that won't end well. And as for other people, like Joffrey is not bad here. Har, I mean, if you've got filler slots, I should mention Toroniu has a fantastic special boss conversation with Ashnard. So, yeah, sadly, Toroniu can't hurt him. There's a whole bunch of people who have special boss conversation with Ashnard who sadly can't hurt him, and I just realized, you know what? Maybe I'll do that in bonus footage. Maybe I'll bring Tanith, because I kind of want to show Tanith's reinforcements here. So anyway, let's go for repositioning. So, on this side, I'm going to put Titania here, because we've got quite a lot of Lance users, and she's going to be helping out there. Against the Paladins, I think I'm going to go for Nephany because she's fast enough to double a lot of them. Jill, I think, will head up the center to try and take out the guy with bolting as quickly as she can. Ike will also head up the center, which means by extension Soren will head up the center, and so will Nasir, because I'm going to need you on hand to find Ashnard, and that's what the Laguz stones are for, because you're going to need to transform for that. And I guess I'll keep Tanith a little back. Mist will head near the center as well, because that's most likely where the majority of people are going to be taking damage. Now, where should Stefan go? I guess Stefan should go here, because I guess Rayson should go near the middle as well. Because here, there's some enemies and there aren't a lot of Lance users, so I suppose that should be good. I think these are decent positions, although I might want to spread out my Smite users a little bit. As for Gatry, yeah, you know what? I think I'll send Gatry up this side as well. So, that should be enough when it comes to my positioning. Oh, and I forgot to show one thing. So, some of the enemies here have their mastery skills. This sniper has Deadeye. This warrior has Vantage. So, yeah, a bunch of enemies will have some random skills. I know that one of the Wyvern Lords has Vantage, not you. Yeah, you have Vantage. One of the Swordmasters here has Astra. And I think one of the Paladins has Soul, though I forget if that's actually true. Okay, yeah, you have Astra. Let me just check. I know that there's another skill around here. I think the warrior has... Okay, yeah, you have Nile. And I think there's a warrior who has Colossus, although I'm not entirely sure about that. No, there's just Vantage and... Yeah, it doesn't look like there's a warrior with Colossus here. I must have been getting that wrong. Also, so here, by the castle entrance, I kind of want to fly Jill up there, because eventually a bishop reinforcement will spawn, and he will heal Ashnard, and as you can tell, that's really annoying, so I like to get rid of him. Also, Jill has great boss dialogue with Ashnard, but sadly she can't damage him, so let's go. So yeah, this conversation plays out a little differently depending on whether you've deployed Alincia or not. That's a pretty good moment. Like I've said many times, this story is all about their character development. So, final chapter time. Let's see. These bushes do provide a lot of defensive terrain, which is kind of nice to have. Maybe I should have Stefan Laguz. If with the Laguz Slayer, you're not going to be finishing you off. Also, I don't like the fact that you have a 2% crit rate. I also don't like bolting, but I want to take out bolting as soon as I can. There's no real reason not to use this either, but if I Astra, that'll run down a lot of uses of the Varg-Katia, however it's supposed to pronounce that. I'm not really sure how it's supposed to be pronounced. I was kind of hoping for a crit there, or an Astra. And there's the crit. Okay, that's fine. I might end up using a lot of Physic here. You really, really, really want Physic and or Fortify and or the Asherah Staff on hard mode, because you do not want to have Mist go into Ashnard's range. That's not going to be a fun time for anyone, so don't do that, ever. Really terrible idea. You might also notice something about the music here. The music is... I guess I'll talk about that a bit later. For now, I'm just going to focus on the early turns of this, and let's not do that. I think I'll actually put Gatry over here. Using the spear here is a very good way to break that spear, though. These guys can get really annoying with their short spears, but for now, let's... Okay, I think I'm going to... I don't have the Flame Lance on you anymore. I guess yeah, let's use the Tomahawk. Now, I have to be careful not to underestimate any of the... And I say that and I immediately get a critical. Okay then, Jill really, really wants to get back at Ashnard for essentially causing her father's death, so... That's appropriate, I think. Yeah, Jill's boss conversation with Ashnard is great. I do think I might do a bonus video showing all of Ashnard's special boss dialogue, because a lot of it is really good. Shame it's mostly with people who can't hurt him at all. So, yeah, I still wish Elincia could hurt Ashnard, but she unfortunately can't. Also, speaking of unfortunate, I really, really don't want Soren to get attacked by any of those tigers, so... You know what? That's not a bad idea. Bolting duel time. Not that you can actually counterattack with bolting, but still. That solves that issue, because I was kind of worried about Stefan getting hit with bolting, but that's you gone immediately. And yeah, no experience, because you're already at level 20, which is nice. You know what? Maybe I'll have Elincia use Physic, not Miss. Although I do want Miss to hit level 20 in this chapter, but she's going to anyway, because I know I will be using the Asherah Staff at least once in this chapter, and that gives pretty much a guaranteed level up. In fact, Elincia can just fly over here and heal Stefan, although I do need to remember that Elincia dying is a game over. Some people have asked me if I consider Elincia to be a Lord character. I guess she kind of is, but she joins really late in the game, so I think that to that extent she doesn't really count, although... In that argument, Roy technically doesn't count, because he's not even a real character until the very end of the game. In terms of stats. I'm sorry. I don't like Roy. Yeah. Anyway. I guess I'll keep Mordecai around here in case I need to smite Rayson or something. Miss will go over here. Anyone else need... Yeah, that's... who am I kidding? I have a bajillion physics staffs in the convoy. Might as well use them now. I have both Fortify and the Asherah Staff. Although sometimes against Ashnard, I do sometimes run the risk of running out of those. So I'll need to be a bit careful of that. Actually, Ranulph's starting Transform gauge is not bad, so he might be transformed. I will take a few turns. I'm not going to deploy the Holy Guard just yet, because when I do, I might do that when Nephany and Gatry have, and preferably also Titania, have all hit level 20. And I don't double. Might as well use this opportunity, though, to equip something that isn't bolting, because that is going to weigh him down a lot. Now, I'm not too worried about Ike here, although those sound like famous last words. Whenever I think Ike's going to get Ether, he ends up getting a critical. It's always weird like that. But, yeah, I was hoping he'd Ether there and regain that 5 HP, but at least that means more experience for Mist. Or he could Ether here. Am I positively tempting fate? Let's see. No, and that wasn't even a kill, wow. And yeah, notice how the combat just cuts off entirely if you're level 20? That's why speedrunners really like to, have their characters at max level as soon as possible. Well, I guess Titania's getting the healing skill. Everyone is... They know this is the final chapter. Everyone is just putting in their all here. But I don't really want to break your face. That's a weird sentence. Okay, yeah, those dragons do like to move sometimes. But Ike should have that covered. The other reason why I'm using Ike in the central area, you'll see that once we get to Bryce. Not only does Ike have special boss dialogue with Bryce, but Bryce actually has special defeat dialogue if he's defeated by Ike. He's one of the few bosses in this game to do that. That wasn't a crit with Soul, though. I will need Titania to fight a few of the enemies here if I wanted to get her to level 20. It's not that high of a priority for me because, like I said in the previous chapter, it's not too critical that she gets transfer bonuses. Because I don't really plan on using her a lot in Radiant Dawn, but Okay, good, you attacked in close range. Though I don't think Gatry's gonna double you. Welcome to the You Can't Damage Gatry Club. You're not the first member of that club, and you certainly won't be the last. Huh, Warrior's going over there. Interesting. Okay, now is what I was waiting for. I want all these paladins to get destroyed by Nephany. And once again, Wrath is pretty useless on Nephany because she doesn't really get hit much, and even when she does get hit, she doesn't take a lot of damage because she is Nephany. I know I've said this before, but sometimes in Radiant Dawn, there have been moments where I've forgotten that Nephany had Wrath in that game. Admittedly, Wrath requires 30% or less HP in that game, not 50%, so it's a bit harder to activate. And in the Japanese version, Wrath only had a skill percent chance of activating in Radiant Dawn, even if you were at below that HP threshold. They changed that in the English version. They changed a few of the skills around in that one. Resolve, for example, in Radiant Dawn was strength percent, but in the English version it always activates, even though it's kind of nerfed in that game. I forget if Bryce moves here, but I guess we might find out. Yeah, a lot of the enemies will come charging right at you. You will have to deal with a ton of them here. And you do need to remember that one of those Wyvern Lords has Vantage. Also need to remember that these Sword Masters might be a bad thing for Titania. Okay, so turn number 2... Oh yeah, always going to make sure that we lock in Ashnard's range. Thankfully, Bryce can be lured from just one out of Ashnard's range. Otherwise, we could have major problems. I guess Soren could go here, and yeah, you do need to remember the Paladins over here, they can sometimes go farther into this middle fountain plaza than you would expect, so always be aware of that. Also, this warrior here can go into the fountain plaza, and he does have Vantage, so still remember that. Now I guess I can explain something about this final chapter. Well, not so much explain as give an opinion. So, I really hate to get negative this late into the game, but I have to say this. Path of Radiance Endgame is, in my opinion, one of the least interesting final chapters in the series. Again, mostly in my opinion. And this ties into the reason I said not many chapters ago, I said in chapter 26 that this song is a decent song, but I don't like it for one very specific reason. And that reason is, it still plays in the final chapter. Like, the final chapter does not have its own unique map song, which is ridiculous because, let me put that in perspective. I believe this is the only Fire Emblem game in the entire Fire Emblem series where the final chapter does not have its own unique music. And that really says something, because the very first Fire Emblem game, Fire Emblem 1, every single chapter had the exact same player phase theme, except the final one. So yeah, even Fire Emblem 1 had a different map theme for the final chapter. And this game doesn't. It's just... it makes the final chapter feel so much less special, is the way that I'll put it. And even the map itself, all it really is just one big square with a lot of enemies in it. There's nothing really unique about it. There's nothing really all that final about it apart from the fact that the map is really gigantic. I mean, I really love the concept of the final battle with the generically evil king taking place in the beautiful, blatantly good-looking castle. I like that. It's a really cool twist. But the final chapter just feels like another chapter to me in this game. It doesn't really feel final enough. It just doesn't do a lot to stand out apart from Ashnard himself. And in fact, even on normal and easy, Ashnard himself doesn't stand out because he doesn't even move. So it's, I don't know, I'm conflicted about the final chapter in this game. And overall, like, in my opinion, it's... I'm trying to think if it's my least favorite final chapter in the series, because I do still like this chapter. It just doesn't really, like, as a chapter in its own right, I think it's quite good. It just doesn't really feel final enough for me. But FE6's final chapter, you can end that in like 1 or 2 turns pretty effortlessly, even with an untrained Roy, so I probably like that one less, but still, I just don't like the fact that this final chapter doesn't even have its own map theme, so I feel like if this game ever did get remade, at least they should do that. And I kind of feel like they would do that, because it feels bizarre that this is the only final chapter in the series that doesn't have its own unique music. So, yeah, not really sure what they were thinking in that regard. Because, like, I'll just say it again, it really says something that Fire Emblem 1 also... Fire Emblem 1 had its own unique final chapter theme, despite the fact that every single chapter used the same music, except the final chapter. Anyway, that's enough of that. I don't want to get too negative this late into the game. Speaking of negative, Rayson should not get into range of anything, but I kind of want Soren to destroy that dragon. That will put Soren in range of 2 generals, though, but in support range of Ike, I trust Soren to be okay there, although I hope I don't speak too soon. I think I remember, though, that on normal and easy, there are a lot more dragons in this middle fountain segment. But, yeah, hard mode gives you less enemies on the map to start with. There is a very good reason for that, like I said. The final chapter is the main reason why I decided to play on hard mode, because I said at the very beginning that hard has exclusive gameplay content. That's not just Fog of War. There is... And I guess also the Shade Scroll as well, because that's exclusive to hard mode. But not just Fog of War. This chapter has by far the biggest moment of exclusive hard mode content. And I just had an idea. I kind of feel like sending Nasir over this way and having him use a Lagoostone to transform, but I also really want him to fight Ashnard. So, yeah, because if I don't do that, I'm going to have to... I guess 2 Paladins attacking Stefan won't be the end of the world. I really need to get Alincia back. Let me just make sure. Because this song isn't even on a particularly long loop anyway. Actually, you know what? While you're here, might as well hammer in the rescue staff. The rescue staff might end up being important later. Depending on how things go with Ashnard, I might even end up using the rescue staff for its actual intended purpose. And I still find it funny that rescue is, by its name, obviously meant for rescuing people, but the real use of it is to teleport people vast distances and complete maps in insanely short amounts of time. At least it's not E-ranked like Awakening. I know I've said that before, but I still don't know why they did that. That was really bizarre. But it's at least better than Shadow Dragon, where they decided to make the Warp Staff, like, endlessly obtainable and have, like, what, like 10? I forget how many uses Warp had in that game, but it was something massive. You know what? I'm going to summon the Holy Guard now. Oh, speaking of summoning things, so if you're using this chapter on normal or easy, you might have been a bit confused when I started this chapter. Normally, you have a choice when this chapter begins. On hard mode, that choice doesn't come until a bit later in the chapter, and it makes certain characters you get out of the choice a lot less useful. So yeah, Holy Guard are being distractions, which is pretty much what they're best at. As I said when we recruited Tanith, the Pegasus Knights are not useful later in the game. They don't scale to Tanith's level at all, so yeah, they're pretty much worthless, but they're at least good decoys. And that is why these guys are annoying, because they like to go over here and attack you from range. Speaking of annoying, the Astra Swordmaster is coming. You're gonna need to make sure Gatry's on the case for that, because Astra doesn't really mean anything when you're doing no damage to begin with. I'll see if I can finish off something with Titania here. I kind of had a feeling you guys would be going in there. I also had a feeling you'd be doing that. Hey, not quite a one-shot. That's... Wow, you survived. Not for long, though, I'm sorry. Oh, wow. Give that Holy Guard a raise. I kind of want to protect them now. I almost want to use a Physics Staff use on them. Enemies breaking out Silver Blades, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, you guys have really high defense. I'm not surprised Jill didn't destroy... I am shocked you didn't attack Soren. Maybe they're taking his evasion into account? I don't know, but... Or they know that he's going to do a lot of damage with magic, but... That's really strange. I'm just thinking something. Could Jill survive one round against Ashnard? Because I might need to have Jill dash past him because I need to get her behind because... Yeah, I need to make sure that Jill gets rid of the Reinforcement Bishop. And you're a little confused now, I guess? Guess that's the benefit of flyers, though. They can kind of redeploy wherever they're needed. Okay, good. Ranulph is transformed. That's going to help a little bit, I guess. But for now... I say for now quite often, but... I don't know. Anyway, kind of want to do... I have a 90% chance of hitting you even in the bushes. Yes, I'll do that. It was funny. Gatry actually had accuracy issues earlier in the game, but not so much now. I wonder if Luna, like, when it halves the enemy's defense, whether that calculates defense plus the bonus from terrain. I mean, I know it's only 1 point, so Luna wouldn't really do much with that defense anyway, but still. Yeah, I really don't want Titania getting attacked by the Astra Swordmaster. Because, yeah, let me just... Actually, let me check something. Is he even a threat to her? He's kind of a threat. Let's not let that happen. That does exactly enough damage. Might as well then. This is why Soul was pretty cool, even though it takes up all of Titania's... And that was a critical as well as Soul. Yeah, I definitely want Titania to level up a little bit more, but I also don't want, I mean, I guess if the Wyvern Lord attacks her, it's not the end of the... Okay, you have a weapon that's effective against Gatry, although I shouldn't really be worried because effectiveness weapons in this game, as we have no doubt learned by now, are terrible. It's funny because I never really thought about it that way when I first played the game. Like, I knew that Ike's Regal Sword wasn't all that great of a weapon, but I never really thought about why, and then I realized, oh right, it's because effectiveness bonus is only double might, not triple might in this game. So, and that is, I'm pretty sure that's changed in Radiant Dawn. The enemies here are worth a pretty good amount of experience, though. Speaking of experience, Nephany is almost over the edge. Can she? No. Also no. So I might as well get rid of you then. And I'm not going to equip a long-range weapon here because I know that the Paladin's going to be attacking the Holy Guard anyway. As much as I really want to save that one Holy Guard who surprisingly survived against endgame enemies. Okay, come on, Neph. Also, why are you shaking your lance? You shouldn't be nervous right now. That's probably the best that I could expect. Okay, now Ranulph could get in there. Oh, I can't rescue. Oh, I was thinking I would use Savior to rescue you, but no, can't rescue mounted characters in this game, unfortunately. Let's just smite you. And I think I'm totally okay on that front. Yeah, so the enemies are already almost half gone and it's only the 3rd turn. That just goes to show how powerful we are and just how good the quote-unquote elite of Dayan are. Also, don't worry, Ashnard doesn't move until you get into his range. He's not going to move on his own accord, ever. I'm pretty sure, at least. Need to get rid of you, though. Let's... Oh, right, you have Nile, don't you? No, you don't. Which is the Paladin who has Nile? Is he up here? Oh, wait, he's already... Is he dead? He might actually be dead. I'm not sure. Oh, no, there he is. The one with the Brave Axe had Nile. Okay. Let's see who does what. Because I don't really want Jill to get attacked by a whole bunch of dragons at once. Also, don't really want Soren to get attacked by a whole bunch of cats at once, but Ike's going to be jumping in front of him anyway, so... Let's just use Elwind. Once more for good measure, Elwind. I actually don't know who voices Robin in Japanese. I'll probably have to look that up. Alright, I was going to use Ike to fight you, though. So I do kind of want Ike to run out here, and... I don't like provoking the dragons at the same time as Bryce, but what's even worse than that is provoking the dragons at the same time as Ashnard. Also, Bryce could potentially get, Oh, that's interesting. I forgot there was a display here. I guess I'm finally showing it in the final chapter. But yeah, that shows what orders and requests you have active, which is actually pretty cool. You know what? I may regret this, but let's go ahead and do that. And then you need to go, so let me just see who can fight you. This is probably not going to end... Alright, you have a brave sword, I just remembered that. Is this a terrible... Actually, wait a second. Oh, she just doesn't do enough, but that's actually... I guess I can show this off. Finally, we get to see Mist fighting as she should. Wait a minute, that's a critical, isn't it? No, it's not. Yeah, she just has a very overly long animation with the Sonic Sword. I've never seen that animation before, so yeah, this is the first time I've ever got Mist up to enough of a rank to get some magic swords, which I guess that's kind of cool. Right, so you have 1 HP now. I guess... Oh, wait a minute, there is a Wyvern Lord there, so let's just make sure... Who can attack Mist? Which, to be honest, is... probably fine, because Mist is going to destroy him with effectiveness bonus and yeah, that's probably fine. Ah, Elincia is just not strong enough to do that, sadly. However, I will instead start flamming these Paladins K. Or at least this one Paladin K. With the Flam Lance. Tannis HP is kind of low, but the rest of her stats are ridiculous, so that doesn't really matter all that much. She hasn't even leveled up at all since we got her, and she's still pretty good. That just goes to show how good Tanith is. She's great. I could use Racing on Mist, but to be honest, I'm actually really curious as to whether the Wyvern Lord will attack her and actually... Because, like, it's gonna... Yeah, no matter where we go, it's not actually going to be able to get her with the Killer Lance, and it might actually end up getting destroyed by the Sonic Sword, and that would be amusing. However, yeah, I think for now I'm just going to have Jill fly up here, and let's just use the Tomahawk for the slight chance for critical. Also, Adept would be nice here, just saying. No Adepts. There's Adepts, good. Don't know if I mentioned this before, but Adept was actually in Fire Emblem 4 as well. I mean, not so much the first Fire Emblem game with skills, because technically Fire Emblem 2, aka Echoes, aka Gaiden, had skills, but, or at least it had things that would later become skills, because Sages in that game had what was essentially renewal in later games. But Fire Emblem 4 was the first to have skills as we know them today, and yeah, Adept was in that game, although it was usually translated as Continue. Was based off of speed in that, well, actually technically based off of attack speed, and the amusing thing about that is that if your, I might have mentioned this before, but I'll just say it again, if your activation rate for Adept in that game was negative, so as in, like, I think its activation rate was like, attack speed plus 20 or something like that, so if your attack speed was like negative 21, you could get that negative, and if it was negative, then the game would crash every time the character tried to attack. Because the game would be trying to do calculations with a negative number, and, yeah, I've never actually got that to happen myself, but it sounds funny. Come on, how close do you need to be in order to physic that, You need to be that close. Might as well try this, though. Maybe this Holy Guard was training with Elincia under Tanith, that'd be pretty fun. But, yeah, I don't count on you surviving this turn, but if you did, that would be really impressive. Come on, hero NPC. The Falcon Knight is still pretty effective, even this late into the game. Slightly higher than Tanith's base stats. If you've been training Tanith, Tanith will be a lot better, but... Oh, that was kind of close. Because if one of them had gone down, then that Pegasus Knight would have survived. But seems like it's not to be. And there's Aether, finally. Not that that was really necessary, because I'm pretty sure you would have died anyway, unfortunately. Yeah, you're moving now. Seems like the enemies are triggered into moving when you get close to them, and I really should have given Titania a long-range weapon here. Kind of forgot you had a spear. I'm now kind of wishing I could steal that, but you don't really have any other... Now I'm really wishing that I gave Titania a long-range weapon. Also, this guy is probably never going to miss you because he has Deadeye. But yeah, Deadeye is... Oh, I'm so sorry. Please survive. Oh, you did exactly enough damage, so you missing last turn was actually necessary. And to add insult to injury, that guy is now cancelling out of the way. Also, hi there, Bryce. So yeah, it's kind of weird that the last member of the 4 riders is shoehorned into being a boss in the final chapter. I kind of feel like there should have been a... Like, they could have even, like, given you one more chapter where Bryce was the main boss. Okay, good, no cancel. God, dang it. Keep making that mistake. Now, if Ike Ether's here, he'll get back all of his HP. Come on, Ether, please. Ike is still destroying everything, though. Like I said, this is the real part of the game where Ike becomes an absolute monster. It's not until the very end, but at least unlike Roy, his legendary weapon has infinite uses. Okay, so Gatry and... Yeah, so Gatry and Nephany are both level 20. That is good. That's really the main thing that I want out of this chapter. Titania hitting 20 would be nice, though. And I'm glad to get you out of the way. And I can't get Ether on you because of Nile, as that white flash just happily demonstrated. I doubt you can actually hit Ike, though. And Ike doesn't need Ether at all. Yep, Ike finally gains speed. Like, finally caps speed, but not until the very end of the game. Normally, Ike has cap speed at around about, I don't know, like, much, much earlier than towards the end of the game. And, oh, I was hoping you went for miss, but oh well. Killer Lance. I doubt even if you critical, Ike is gonna die. But you miss anyway. You do have a lot of health, though. I forgot you had a... Yeah, I should have given Titania a ranged weapon. That was a really big mistake on my part. But hopefully all of... Oh, right, you have a rune sword. Forgot about that. That does hurt quite a bit, but that would have hurt even more if I hadn't used those 2 talismans on Gatry. Okay, that was... Huh. That first one must have been a critical, because the animation was slightly different then. Yeah, that was a critical, I guess. That was interesting. I'm now really glad that, that rune swords can't trigger activation skills, because Gatry getting Ashnard by a rune sword would probably end badly, but... Yeah, that first one, like, it didn't make the... I mean, maybe I just missed the critical sound effects, but... Oh, you're going in the bushes. That's annoying. Now, please get Astra. Oh. Wow, you actually do damage to Gatry. I'm kind of surprised. But no more Astra Swordmaster. Kind of glad you didn't get Astra then. I just wanted to see a no-damage Astra. That would have been hilarious. Speaking of hilarious... These enemies are now going down because Nasir is transformed. And I can safely go there without going to Ashnard's range. However, there are 2 dragons that are incoming. I'll need to watch out for that. However... Okay, I'm not guaranteed to take Bryce down with Ike this turn, but as Rayson... If I smite Rayson, Rayson will be able to chant for Ike. Because I really want to make sure that Ike is the one who defeats Bryce. Because like I said, there is actually a unique defeat quote for Bryce losing to Ike. Now, Ether would be pretty cool right about now. No Ether. The Wishblade annoyingly... Well, there's Ether. The Wishblade just looks like a spear, but a little bit different. Yeah, I like that dialogue. It's pretty nice, but... Yeah, Bryce, unfortunately, was kind of an idiot, but, at least he is honorable. Oh, right, I forgot that this is 2 wide, not 1 wide, so I can't actually get to that Wyvern Lord with Mist, at least not at this point. Okay. And I do really want Nasir to get in there, but... then I must use, indignation here. I often see Soren get a critical with the Depth. I just realized now, probably the number of playthroughs in this game where I've used Soren is probably far greater than the number of playthroughs where I haven't used Soren. But that's mostly because, well, yeah, I mean, he's a pretty important character, and he's also my favorite mage in this game stat-wise, although Ileana's good too. I think I used Tormod once, though. Tormod's actually kind of decent, and he does have that great movement. Okay, Nasir shall... just making sure we don't go into Ashnard's range, although I would kind of like Nasir to fight Ashnard. I'll get you over there. I will need to heal... I definitely will need to heal Ike. Yes, definitely need to heal Ike now, because... him getting hit by 2 dragons would not be good at this point, so... I might actually have Rayson chant for Soren, and then have Soren take out the other general, because 2 dragons... Oh, yeah, you're the one with Vantage. Forgot about that. Not that it's really going to make much of a difference. Well, you actually did damage, so it did make a difference, if only slightly. Maybe I'll just have Miss Fortify here, because we've got a few people who are slightly damaged. Alright, I don't even need to smite Rayson. That's good to know. Only 11 enemies left. We're now officially outnumbering them. That was pretty quick. But there are going to be reinforcements here, and there's also going to be, well... let's just say this chapter gets a lot more interesting at a certain point, but only on hard mode. On normal and easy, this chapter is mostly just make your way up the steps and wail on Ashnard while he just stands there and doesn't do anything. He hits very hard, but as long as you keep healing, and Ashnard poses no threat to your healers on normal and... yeah, there's no chance I'm getting you up to an S rank to use, Rex Bolt, so yeah, probably not gonna happen. And I use my 1 arm scroll remaining anyway, so let's go and use this stuff. Actually looks kind of fitting from the middle of the fountain here. That did get, I mean, that definitely got Ike in range. There's no way that didn't get Ike in range. Yeah, only 1 more level for Mist until I would have appreciated Strength, but oh well. Actually didn't gain luck. It's almost as if this game is like acting like the luck cap really is 30, which it should have been. I don't like you, but I can do this. Okay, who has more HP? The one with more HP has an axe, though, unfortunately. So I might... No, I do exactly enough. Nice. Usually... Oh, and then I critical, so it doesn't matter anyway. Yeah, if you think Nephene's a crit machine here, just wait until Radiant Dawn, where her class actually has a critical bonus attached to it. Yeah, in Radiant Dawn, Halberdiers get a critical bonus. I think it's only plus... Is it plus 5 or plus 10? I know that plus 5 critical is the 3rd tier of warriors, and then the, then Myrmidons, I think, have plus 10, Swordmasters have plus 15, and the True Blades have plus 20, and then Assassins have plus 25. They're the only class to get plus 25 critical in that game. Alright, I was saying that I wanted to use a ranged weapon on Titania, but it probably wouldn't have made much of a difference anyway. Yeah, you know what? Now I think about it, that probably was a critical. Maybe I should have got you in range of the physic, although... I'm trying to think what to do here. I should probably get rid of... Actually, no, I can't get rid of you at all, so... Get rid of you then, because I don't want Elincia to get attacked. Titania's being pretty impressive this chapter too. Although if I'm not careful, there might not be enough enemies left for Titania to even get to level 20 in this chapter. I could just have her repeatedly dodge against someone who only has a ranged weapon and just level her up that way, but that'd be kind of boring. 6, 12, 18. I mean, you're not likely to critical twice. I mean, I could go for the Silver Lance, and if I get Luna, he'll probably die, but... Well, there's one Luna there. Luna can miss, though. I need to be aware of that. And there we go. Good. Rune Sword is gone. So now nothing can hurt Gatry. I don't need to worry. Obviously, though, I don't want Gatry to fight Ashnard. Because, yeah, Ashnard will be able to hurt him, and Gatry will not be able to hurt Ashnard in return. Okay, I can heal you here. We are already approaching the turning point of this chapter, so... Getting there a little quicker than I... That's interesting. That means that you could potentially do 2 Ashura Staff uses... in one turn. That's a possibility. For now, though, I might actually retreat Tanith, just because... She is not going to be much help once we get closer to Ashnard. And Mordecai's Smite, I guess I'll keep you around here for now. I would say you're stealing my experience, but at this point there's really not much experience left to steal. It's really just Titania. Okay, yeah, Ike did get healed, right? And I'm pretty sure the other dragon can't even reach him anyway. And you misregard. I always thought it was funny how dragons look when they miss in this game. Like, they just do this big thing of breath just right into the floor. And the breath doesn't even explode into particles when it doesn't hit anything. It just streams into the floor uselessly. Yes, it does that when it actually hits something. And wow, Nasir took a lot more damage than I thought he would from that. And you took a lot less damage than I thought you would. This is why Resolve is useful. Although, obviously, I want to make sure that Resolve triggers against Ashnard, otherwise, I could have problems. Because Ashnard hits extremely hard. You actually want that because of Resolve and Wrath, but still. And yet, the best way to beat Ashnard by far is Wrath Resolve on Ike, but I didn't do that because I wanted to use Ether, because that's like kind of the canonical thing, and also Ether is available much longer than the Wrath Resolve combo is. Okay, finally you transform, when at this point there's not really all that much use for transform racing, because there aren't going to be many people who are fighting Ashnard right about now, but... let's... I kind of need a critical here. Soul is kind of nice, but it means less experience for my healers. No critical. Will you even get to level 20? Not sure. Because your stats are actually kind of good, but it's all a moot point if you don't hit level 20. Okay, sending you back here, and then Rayson could go down there, and then... Yeah, that could work. And Gatry can't reach anything because clings and their movements. I think for now I'll just have Nephany. I just had a really mean idea. Hey, Holy Guard, would you like to try luring Ashnard for me? It's one of the few times you'll ever get to see Ashnard's generic boss quote, so it's not like that bad of an idea to do that. But, and yeah, speaking of bad ideas, this is why this Rex Aura Bishop right here, it's much harder to steal Rex Aura on hard mode because of, yeah. Wow, you guys have good defense. That is why I have Wrath Resolve on this here, basically. I also, once, like, the battle with Ashnard really begins, I'm gonna have to have Soren get the heck out of here because, he does have special boss style with Ashnard, but you really don't want to see it because Soren can't hurt him, and he will just go splat. I guess I could race in both of you, even though I do kind of want to race in Titania. Beating a dragon with the beam part of Ragnall, which is kind of cool. I would like this guy gone by the time we fight Ashnard, though, because Fortify against Ashnard... Oh, also, I need you gone right now, because otherwise... Actually, I don't think Soren will die to that, but he will take quite a lot of damage. Speaking of quite a lot of damage, 27 defense versus Ashnard's 55 attack power, and Ashnard doesn't double Jill. But what's his crit rate? Like, I kind of want Ashnard to fight Jill just for thematic reasons, but crit 13. Now, she has more luck than that, doesn't she? No, she doesn't. Maybe I should have used the Ashera icon on Jill, because then she wouldn't have got any crit chance, but I don't want Jill getting critical by Ashnard. Or that dragon. However, I can tomahawk you from a distance. Oh boy, yeah. As much as I kind of want Jill to lure Ashnard, I don't want to risk getting criticaled. You know, if you go here, I might be able to... Well, not might. I will be able to race on all of you. I think I'll just... No, wait. I want you to get lots of experience, so let's just do that, even though it's overkill. And this means I won't get to show how much experience the Ashera staff gives. It's a lot, though. It's practically a guaranteed level up. And yeah, I think for the first time ever, I'm going to get transfer bonuses on Mist this playthrough. Only to magic and speed, though. But that's better than nothing, I guess. But yeah, she is, yet again, a physical fighter in Radiant Dawn, so... Not like it's all that important to... I don't know. I find Mist isn't as good in Radiant Dawn as she is in this game either. It's kind of hard to explain exactly why, but she just isn't really as good. Oh look, Rayson gains strength! That's useful! I know I've seen this before, but I have had Ninian gain strength once in Fire Emblem 7, and that was pretty hilarious. Okay, I don't like the idea of Ike taking 17 damage when I don't have Mist to heal him, so let's just... I mean, I don't have Mist to heal him, but I do have, although from here, you have 17, so that's 16, so that's 8 spaces range on Physic. That's out of range, so no, I'm not going to go ahead and do that. And I need to get a lot of people away from the central fountain, because once Ashnard starts moving down there, I like to have everyone huddle in the corners, because you don't want Ashnard fighting anybody who is not named Ike or Nasir at this point. I'm going to have Mist on hand for healing, though. Oh, dang it! I was going to have Jill fly around, because there's going to be a Physic Bishop coming soon. I forgot about that guy. Oh, well. Okay, so you have, like, 29 defense. Anyway, I'll do the calculations later. Yeah, you don't even want to fight Ashnard, do you? It's the same enemy phase theme, too. Oh, I kind of forgot that Gatry had a spear for a second there. Again, everyone knows it's the final chapter, although I think Gatry, you just sealed Titania's fate of not getting transfer bonuses, so that's a shame. But, I don't know, like I said, it's not really that big of a priority anyway. And the stats I have on Titania are pretty impressive for the trial maps, at least, so I might be able to use her in some of those. Okay, now the real fun begins. Because I'm going to get rid of that bishop, then Ashnard's going to be moving, I need to heal Ike. And I do need to be very careful because, like I said, Ashnard moves on hard mode, which radically changes this chapter, and yeah, I don't think Titania would have got to level 20 anyway, but still. Because, yeah, Rayson... I really don't want Rayson getting attacked by Ashnard. Which is kind of a shame because I would like to benefit from Rayson movement refreshing also. Okay. Jill, time to continue your mission. Your mission is to get behind Ashnard and take out that bishop that spawns behind him. Also, we might get to see Rex Aura here, provided that Ike doesn't critical. I might try and get bonus footage of actually stealing this. It's kind of funny when that misses, because it just does that really big dramatic animation with like the light filling up there. Nope, nope, miss. Okay then. I don't think Nasir, no, Nasir doesn't get critical by him. Let's have you two move side by side. I'm not sure which one Ashnard's going to go for first, though. And Mist will hang back here. I like to have Rayson hover around wherever Mist is, just so that she can heal and then potentially run if she needs to in the same turn. Yeah, there is only one left, and it's Ashnard. This is really it. This is the moment. This is the moment of truth. It is final battle time. And while I will say I don't really care for the music in this chapter all that much, Ashnard's boss theme more than makes up for it. It's really great, as you're about to hear. Well, that's one extra range on your physic, which is good, so that's 9 spaces. Yeah, everyone else is going to go ahead and huddle in the corner. Even though Nephany would really like to defeat Ashnard and liberate her homeland, and I'm sure Ranulf wants to inflict vengeance upon him for what he did to all of the Lagoos, but it's finally time! Here he comes, and he is going for Nasir. Okay, so I might actually get to show Wrath Resolve after all. This line changes slightly if Nasir isn't transformed. He says something like, "You're not a beast or a bird, so you must be a dragon." What do you really expect? Whenever you think a villain has a cure for something, chances are they don't. And yeah, he does have unique dialogue because of the fact that Nasir was the traitor. In this case, literally Wrath, because I gave him the skill. I would kind of love to see some of Ashnard's dialogue voice acted, because, yeah, he pretty much goes full ham here. Oh, that's not quite Wrath Resolve, sadly. And yeah, Ashnard can Canto as well, because he is technically a, flyer. Okay, yeah, Nasir does a lot better when he's in Wrath Resolve range, so I kind of want... Obviously, this is who you're supposed to fight Ashnard with. So, here I'd like to splice in Ashnard's special boss dialogue with Rayson, because that sheds a lot more light on Ashnard's motives here.
We also get to see Rayson's battle model as a heron, finally. See, usually when villains are asked a question like this, why would you possibly destroy the world, what would you have to gain from it, they have no idea how to answer, but Ashnard actually does. So here's the full rundown on Ashnard's philosophy. So in essence, Ashnard is the Shin Megami Tensei Chaos alignment. His goals are, I guess, somewhat noble. I do like the idea of anyone being able to achieve success regardless of their birth. But the issue with Ashnard is that he doesn't care how many people are sacrificed to get a world like that. He is willing to burn down the current world, destroy everything in order to create a new one. He does not care how many thousands or even millions are sacrificed in order to achieve that. And he's also saying that strength is the only thing that matters, and people who have no strength don't even deserve to live, so I sympathize with his end goal to an extent, but so, the interesting thing I find about Ashnard is that in many ways he does seem like the generically evil king who's just blatantly evil for no reason, but in many ways, he deliberately acts that way. He wants the whole world to hate him because he needs the entire world to be a war, and he attacked the country that would get the rest of the world to hate him as quickly as possible. It's really interesting. Of all of the blatantly evil kings in the series, Ashnard is one of the most interesting. And I'm going to spare you the sight of Rayson being horribly murdered, and I'll cut back to my main attempt of the chapter.
Yeah, Ike doesn't really fully... Also, Ether would have been great there, just saying. But I kind of want you to keep attacking Nasir. Because, yeah, Nasir will be fine for a little longer. Let me just check what your range... Okay, Mist can heal from over here. As long as I keep Ashnard up there, Mist is going to be safe. And, yeah, Soren will have to support from the sidelines down here. And there's really nothing else I can do at this point. Because, yeah, you do... Yeah, 26... Yeah, and he heals 6 every turn because renewal is 10% of your HP. Okay, yes, do this. Do this. Nasir, show him why dragons are known for their wrath. There we go. And that's why Wrath Resolve is awesome. So yeah, that is why I say that combination for Nasir over at this point. So, on normal or easy, this is where this chapter ends. On hard mode, though, this is where the final battle really begins. This is why I chose to play hard mode, by the way, because what happens now is exclusive to this difficulty. Ashnard is about to touch the medallion. Remember what that did to Ike's father? They said before that the medallion takes the worst aspects of a person and magnifies them tenfold. I also love the evil promotion animation he gets here. Imagine what that would do to this guy. Seems like his mount got the benefit of that too. And hard mode is the only time you'll see this portrait. This is Berserk Ashnard, the real final boss of the game. And yeah, many people speculate the only reason Ashnard manages to remain at least somewhat in control after touching the medallion is that he was already insane to begin with.